Shira, could you introduce yourself, please? Thank you.
Sure. Hi, everybody. My name is Shira, and I am one of the administrators, directors of Run for Their Lives, which is a grassroots initiative that was started about a year and a half ago, almost 16 months ago.
Yeah, you guys were here like almost from the start, right? I remember we started and then you came along, and it felt like it's been a hell of a journey. What was the thing that surprised you the most since you started about this project?
Um, so I think why it's taken off and why um, so many groups have started is because it's unique in the sense that it really focuses 100% on the hostages and focuses on the fact that this is an international humanitarian crisis. We make sure to really um, keep politics out of it, both in Israel and in the location that you are. I'm in the US, in New York, so we really make sure to keep politics out of it and also really make people understand that it didn't just impact Jewish people and it didn't just impact Israeli citizens. It impacted people with dual nationalities, as we saw last week. Emily, that was released, is a dual British and Israeli citizen, and it also impacted people from different religions. They kidnapped Muslims. They kidnapped Israeli citizens that are Muslims, and they kept them hostage. And I think that's what really has compelled people to join us. People who understand that if this could happen in 2023 in Israel, what's to stop it from happening anywhere in the world where any group can come in and just decide to literally take people from their beds on a Saturday morning?
So if someone here is part of the Run for Their Life movement, what does that mean actually? What do you actually do?
Sure. So we have local groups in different cities around the world where we walk once a week to raise awareness for the hostages. We don't protest, we don't march, we're not like screaming, nothing like that. It really is a very respectful and beautiful way to bring the community together to continue to keep the hostages front and center. The walks usually take around 18 to 20 minutes. Some groups do it much longer. Some groups start it with maybe a prayer in the beginning or a song in the beginning. Some might have a speaker come and join them, but we really let the individual leaders in each of the locations to cater it to what makes the most sense for their community.
So you're not running because it felt like you're organizing runs?
Yes. So I'll tell you why the name Run for Their Lives.
Okay.
So the person who started this, her name is Shani Klein, and she's located in California, and she is a runner. So when she, right after October 7th, when we were all having the feelings, and we didn't know
Yeah.
what to do with those feelings, she went out for a run. And as she was running, she was thinking, these people literally ran for their lives to survive. And now the people who were abducted can't run. That freedom was taken away from them.
Mhm.
Um, so she just during this run was imagining, what if I did this once a week? What if I reached out to a few friends of mine and see if they would be interested in joining me? And that's what she did. She reached out to friends and family, and she said, I have this crazy idea. I want to form this group. This is before even the Bring Them Home group was put together. Um, I feel like it's good for my soul, it's good for my mental health. Like, would you join me? And that's how it started. And then some people said, well, we don't run. We're not runners. Can we still join you? And she said, absolutely. Would make it a walking group. I don't care. Whatever you guys want to do, as long as we're out there every week. So the premise really came from two things. These people were running for their lives to escape and to survive, and also for the fact that their basic freedom of choice was taken away from them. And we, as a collective community, had to walk for them because they couldn't do it. So that's where the name came from.
So how big is the organization now? Like how many global locations like do you have?
Yep. So we have 231 groups across Europe, the US, South America, Canada, Australia. We really are on every single continent at this point, which is really beautiful. It's amazing how even 16 months into this, we still are having people reach out and ask to sign up to lead a group. Um, it's there's definitely, we were nervous about just fatigue, and just people, kind of not sticking with it, but people have really surprised us and have really embraced the concept. And we are not a non-for-profit. We don't do any advertising. This is all word of mouth. This is word of mouth and social media. That's how people find out about us.
Wow, amazing. I know this, I first heard about this group by one of the first people that, like the people from the first generation of October 7, that was like from the founder. And he was, I think it was in the beginning, it was still running. Like he said, I'm going on a run now,
Yep.
and we're going to run for life. So is there like a same day for all the location, or is it just like,
So our recommendation is that they keep the same day and time for their location, because we're not asking for anybody to register. We're not asking for anybody. We're not raising any money. We're not keeping a list of anybody. It's nothing like that. So at the actual location, what we found is easier for everybody is if you do keep it to the same day and time every week, and place where you start from. But that varies from different organizations. I would say 90% of our groups walk on Sunday morning. We do have some groups that walk on Friday, right before Shabbat. We do have some groups that walk during the week. They know their community best. So we lean on them, on those leaders, to decide when it makes sense for them to get together.
amazing? And like what are some of the reactions that you get, like, because it's such a surprising way of doing like advocacy, right? Like last week we had here a woman that she decided to create a video game. She never created a video game in her life, but she felt like that was the right form of advocacy. Soon we're gonna have a lady that create published a book. And so like it feels like advocacy can come in so many ways and forms, right? So but this is the most surprising one, I think, no? Like how does it become advocacy actually and not just a walking group?
You know what? I think um, after October 7th, a lot of people felt very lost, and scared. And they were looking for a way to connect with like-minded people.
Mhm.
And it transcended also religion, right? So it wasn't, just about, people who maybe were more culturally Jewish, right? Or people who have never been to Israel before, but had a
Yes.
connection to Israel because they are Jewish, right? Or on the other side, non-Jewish people who felt like also had a sense of loss, right? And felt like, how can this be happening? So that, I think, why it's been so successful is because we've created this, like, these little families. It really is unbelievable. I've met these people. I run my own group, and I've been running it for this past Sunday was 64 weeks. So we've been doing this together for 64 weeks, and we've kind of created a family.
Mm.
Um, and we're not always talking about the hostages. Sometimes we just talk about what's going on in our lives, and it just creates a sense of normalcy and a sense of togetherness that I think a lot of people um maybe started feeling, I would say, around COVID, right? And it never really went away. And I think maybe this was a way to just it really feels like we've become a family for each other, which is I think why it's been so successful because it's so welcoming. Um, it's so heartwarming, it's so uplifting, and we really are trying to do it from a space of positivity versus a space of negativity, which is why we really stress no politics. We really don't discuss anti-Semitism. There's enough, we know what's going on. There's enough groups dealing with that. We really want to focus on the hostages and even more so on the families of the hostages. Because we've heard from them time and time again that they feel the support like even though they're not directly impacted by it, they feel it. They say it's just they to know that there are people out there that care about them and care about their loved ones is what keeps them going every day.
Yeah, we know one of your group is in close contact with the Biba's grandfather. And like, which families have you been in contact with? Like, what dialogues have you had? We had Avinatan or brother here for a Zoom, but yeah, who or have you been
um
with?
yeah, so we have a group in Chicago and a group in New York who had family members like the grandfather of Hirsch,
Mhm.
um, who um, walked with them regularly. In my group, Omer Nutra is from my neighborhood. I didn't know this when I started my group. This again, this is like the beautiful thing about this group. When I started my group, I started it because I felt like I needed to do something, and then later found out that Omer Nutra, who was an American citizen who made an aliyah to Israel to volunteer for the IDF, was born and raised in the town next to me. So, actually, his parents were spoke to us yesterday. They come quite often. They come and they say all the time how it really is unbelievable just the love and the support that they're getting from everybody, and they keep reiterating how important it is to keep going, especially now as we're starting to get better news. It's very bittersweet, right? Because there are families that don't know the status of their loved ones, and there are families that, like the Nutras, who their son had unfortunately was killed on October 7th, but still need to bring the body back. So they're happy that, the first thing he said, he goes, I'm so happy that 7 women were released in their home. But for us, it's sad because we're still waiting to give our son a proper burial, and we don't know when that's going to happen. Um, we did in Canada, they do get quite a few of family members to show up. I think whenever the families, they're incredible. They haven't stopped. They go on these world tours where they go to advocate for their children and their loved ones. So, wherever they can, we welcome them with open arms and have them join us. Don's family, who's another American, who is also is a lone soldier, who also volunteered to join the IDF, who's still a hostage. They're from New Jersey. So there's a group in their neighborhood and they go there quite often. Yeah, there's unfortunately there's enough family members of survivors that can make it to the groups and speak on their behalf.
So in a way, it's kind of like a support group and a good thing to do for you, kind of like exercise. It's like easy and good for you and just company.
Yeah, I think it's also become it's like a mental health break, right? A physical break, to move your body. I think, when people first asked me why I was doing this, why I was starting a group, I'm very fortunate. I'm an Israeli American. I have a lot of family in Israel and friends in Israel, and I was not impacted by October 7th. I didn't have anybody, that was hurt or kidnapped or anything like that, which I count my blessings. I was very fortunate in that. So people were like, why are you starting this? Why does it matter to you? And I said, besides the humanitarian aspect of it, the fact that people were kidnapped and taken, I couldn't, all I was doing for that first week is I was glued to the television, I was glued to social media, I was consuming all this raw information, and you could become victim. A therapist said this to me, which I think was really important, that the psychological aspect of it is just as detrimental as the physical. So I felt like I needed an outlet, right? I needed to find a way to process my feelings and still feel like I'm doing something instead of just screaming at a television, right? And just
Yeah.
crying. So yeah, it really, and I think a lot of people say that they really look forward to coming together once a week because it just gives them a sense of relief. It gives them a sense of, not feeling so isolated. And especially in places where um, maybe they don't feel as supported. Maybe there's a lot more backlash. Maybe there's a lot more negativity, right? Or more support for the other side. People are still scared and people still feel like they're alone. And I think this really gives them a sense of family and community. So this one right here, January 10th. So we put together a monthly recap of all of our groups. So this is an example of our, just to, like, a quick snippet to show you all the groups. Some of them are very fortunate and they do get media to come and interview them, so that's good. They get the local media to show up and interview them. But you'll see after this part, you'll just see images with the locations of where all the groups are from. It's see,
Wow. Amazing.
and they do this every week.
So they go with the flags and the t-shirts?
So we wear a red t-shirt. Um, we we tell them to bring, if they are carrying flags, we ask them that it not just be Israeli and American, to bring the flags from the other nations too. We say you can carry posters of the hostages, so if people stop you, they can actually see what you are walking for and maybe get to know um, some of the people. But yeah, this is what they do. It's amazing.
It's amazing.
And it's all volunteer. These leaders and that put this together every week, um they have their lives, they have jobs, that they have whatever they have going on. And this is they do this completely on a volunteer basis. um and because they know it's important to them. And then what's really fascinating is that there's some groups where there's only one or two people and they just can't get anybody to come with them, and they it's just one person. We have one person in India, not Jewish, has no connection to Israel. He was just like, I need to do this, I need to walk for them, and every week he walks by himself for the hostages. Amazing.
If someone here wants to join a group or find out if there's a group in their location, maybe there is already, or maybe they
Yep.
want to lead a group, how will that work? Like, what will they have to do?
Sure. So we have a website. It's run for the number four theirlives.org. And when you go on that website, you'll be able to see if there's any groups in your location. So it's geographically based, right? So depending on where you're logging in, either your phone or your computer, it'll bring up the groups in your area. And then if you hit join, it'll allow you to join. You might have multiple locations that you can join depending on where you're logging in from. You can join that group. If you don't see a group in your location, then there's an opportunity to fill out a form to potentially ask to lead a group. And then what'll happen is one of us, one of the admins, will get that information and we will reach out to you and talk to you about the group and what the expectations are and see if you would be interested in leading a group. So, and that's what happens. A lot of times people go they saw us from another group or their friend told them, oh, I walk with this group, and then they went on the website to see if there was a group and they're like, oh, there isn't one, I want to create one for myself.
Mm.
So that's usually, like I said, it's all word of mouth, it's all people telling people. But yeah, if you come, definitely go to the website, definitely follow us on social media. We are active on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and YouTube, so we would love to see you there too. But yeah, we're always looking to recruit new people. And we always say, God willing, this is all over and all the hostages are back. We
Yeah.
don't know what happens to this group. We don't know if we turn it into something else, because we do have so many people that are involved, but they're involved specifically because of the hostages. Yeah, if you go to the
Thank you so much.
locations, Ifat, you'll
I
see.
here.
No, because that'll only bring up because of your location. But you see the tab at the top that says location on the, yep. No, no,
Oh, I
on the
didn't see that.
website. Yeah. So this gives you all of our locations across the world. But to actually join, you have to click join, and based on where you're located, that's where you'll get the WhatsApp link for that location. But like if Ifat were to click join now, because Ifat is where she is, we will only see the groups that are near her. You wouldn't see any of the groups in the US, for example.
Okay. So you just click on the location near
No,
you.
no, you see the red button that says join on the top right. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you click join,
Wait, maybe I have to do this.
find a group near you, click on find a group near you. Yep. So this is your area. It's going off of your IP address. Okay. So if I go to join, find a group near you, if I click on that, because I'm in New York, it's going to bring up all the groups in my area. So you see in the New York area, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. We have 20 groups. So then what I would do is I would, let's say I want to join this group, which is actually my group. So if you click on it brings you to the WhatsApp for that group and you hit join chat. And then myself as the admin would approve you in. So that's another safety um, kind of precaution we put, where we make sure that people are being, kind of vetted by. That's why we don't tell people where we're meeting. Like none of that information exists on the website, because we want to make sure that people feel safe and that the leaders can vet who is coming into their group. If you come from the if you log in from the phone, if you turn off your location services on your phone, you'll get a drop down menu where you could see all of the locations in the US, for example. I can't see Europe, but like EFI, if you turned off on location services and sorry, turned off location services and logged in from your phone, you would be able to see all the groups in Europe. And then the other thing is, this is, like I said, we did create merchandise, and we don't make any money off of this. This is just literally so people can wear something that brings attention. So we have a few Amazon stores, and then we also
Amazon
have
Japan.
this website that, excuse me, has additional products, that people can order. So, you have scarves and hats and sweatshirts and running shirts, and here's the cap, that somebody was asking about. So that's what people wear on their walks.
Amazing. And then they just print the posters from bring
Yeah.
home. Yeah.
Or so once you join us, like I said, we add you to a leader location, a leader WhatsApp group, and in that leader WhatsApp group is where we give you all the different um posters and imagery that you might need for printing and stuff like that. We really try to minimize the cost. You know, we tell people don't go crazy. We don't want you to spend a ton of money
Mhm.
doing this, but some people want to do it, so they do it, or other people, ask their participants to give them, a couple of dollars here, and they'll print some posters and things like that. Or maybe they can go to like a local printer and they'll, give the services for free, and depending on things like that. So we really try to minimize, the out of pocket expense for our leaders too, and say, listen, you could print something from your home printer also. It doesn't have to be anything special. So yeah, these are all our groups. Like I said, we're really everywhere. Um, we obviously we're not in every state. Um, Again, it's about raising awareness, and making sure that people realize that this exists.
Wonderful.
Thank you, Shira. Everyone was
Thank you.
great.
Have a good day,
Thank you,
everybody.
Shira.
Thank you.